Hi, I'm Doc Roberts. We're here today to talk about cholla. For people that are used to being in the desert where we live, we see it on the trails and in our yards. It's all over the place. But for those people who are not from Arizona or New Mexico or northern Mexico, cholla might be unfamiliar, and we would like to give clues on how to stay away from it when you're on the trail. It's a breed of cactus that's unique to this area. There's several different species with a similar appearance. The danger of being around cholla is that your horse can get the spines of the cholla stuck to it, and it can cause behavior problems that might be disadvantageous on the trail.
Perfect.
Hi, I'd like to introduce Richard Johnson. He's a professional wrangler, a professional horseman, and a known expert in all equine matters.
Thank you.
Richard,
Thank you, Sheldon.
have you ever been in a situation where you're running a trail ride and someone gets into cholla?
I have seen many times people run into cholla, and what happens, it can escalate fast. From, oh gosh, I got some in my horse's tail, to next thing you know, they're getting bucked off.
So what do you recommend? What do you recommend to your riders if they get into a cholla?
Well, the first thing is you gotta, usually it'll happen in the tail or in their leg. And the first thing to do is stop your horse and get off. How things will escalate is it gets in the horse's tail, they'll swish their tail, it'll get in their belly, and that's the first time that they're aware of it. Mm-hmm. Then they take their heads and they try to get it off. It gets in their nose, and that's when they really feel the sting. I mean, in their belly it'll itch and it's uncomfortable, but when it gets in their noses, they can buck, run off, but that's when the danger happens. So the best thing to do is get a wrangler, get off your horse, and just stay calm. I think we're going to show everybody how we get the cholla off the horse's legs, or their tail, or their belly, or their nose. But get a wrangler. I mean, be safe.
So they should get off their horse immediately, you think?
Absolutely. I mean, as long as it's a safe place to get off. But usually where cholla's at, I mean, it's usually in patches. Get off where you can, not necessarily right next to the cholla, but in more of a clear area where you can get help.
So what do you do when you're waiting for a wrangler?
Be very patient. Be patient with your horse and just let him know it's all right. Try, if he's got it in his belly or got it in his leg and he's trying to get it, try to keep his head up where he can't do that. We talk about the buddy system all the time. Make sure somebody stays with you so you're not alone, so that horse doesn't have that anxiety to escalate things again. But just stay calm. Usually, if you address this right away, the cholla is easy to get out. When you get into a bunch of it and there's panic and you're moving quick, like the horse is moving fast into it, I've seen people fall into cholla, and that's just not pretty.
No.
Then they're calling you. They're calling the doctor and say, hey.
This is a cat scratching post that we're using to mimic a horse's leg. We couldn't really get a horse to volunteer for this job, so we're using a post, and I put some cholla that I recently just took out of my yard this morning, and we're going to show a demonstration as to how to remove the saguaro spines and balls from a cactus. First thing you want to start with is a comb. You should have a comb in your saddlebag. This is a very cheap comb. You could get a lot of them, and just put one in your saddlebag, and if you're lucky you'll forget it's there and never need it. But you can see how to remove a cholla ball from there, and you just flick it away. Try to flick it not into a person near you, but it's an effective way of getting rid of a single cholla ball. Once the cholla ball is removed, there will be little spines from the cholla ball, and you can remove those just by pulling on little spines. There might be a lot of them, and it'll be beneficial for the horse to get rid of as many of those as you can. I like to use a Leatherman. I've used the same Leatherman for about 20 years, and I really never get on a horse without it. You can buy very cheap cowboy pliers just to keep in your saddlebag at any hardware store. Something that's foldable is better because it just takes up less room, but it's always a good tool to have. There are knives that are also made for this purpose. And this knife was made just for this purpose. It's made by a Cashel, and you could use that just to flip cholla off of a horse's leg or any part of their body. Again, when you do this, you want to have somebody holding the horse. You want to have a wrangler, and maybe 2 and maybe 3. I've been in Cholla once where we had 3 wranglers holding the horse, just because it took that many people to hold a horse that got excited, period. Another option is to use a belt, and you could take a belt, wrap it around the leg, and just pull it down and get cholla that way. And it's something that will get the ball, but again, you need to go back and with the pliers pick out the little spines that are there. Cholla are known for their barbed spines that attach tenaciously to skin and to fur and to clothing. Take a moment to learn and remember what a cholla looks like, because it's important to stay away from this desert plant. Keep a distance between your horse and the cholla, and also keep a distance between yourself and the cholla. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video today. Please have a safe ride, an enjoyable ride. This is the Desert Caballeros.